Hey everybody, this is Cameron from Noxious Anonymous. Today I am joined by three extraordinary people to talk about the elaborate and crazy news about Twin Peaks on, what is it, April 5th? Easter. It's Easter. It's a holiday. We're supposed to be enjoying the day off with our families and friends and not be burdened with Twin Peaks and David Lynch money issues. So, all right, so let's get started here. Over here on my right, I don't know how it's going to look on the podcast, but I have Joe from Twin Peaks Worldwide.
Hello, everyone.
In the God position tonight, we have Joel Bacco from Lost in the Movies. How's it going?
Hey.
Yeah, well, you have a God complex. That's okay.
Okay.
And then over here we have Helena. You've seen her on many of the Twin Peaks pages and boards, and she's going to grace us with some amazing insights tonight, which I can't wait to hear. And she's thrilled that she can swear on this podcast. So if you have kids in the room, have them leave.
I literally can't talk without doing it. I'm sorry.
Okay, so before we get started, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to walk you guys through everything that's happened today, and then we're going to tear into it. Earlier this afternoon, it's Easter. I'm done with lunch/dinner. I come on the internet to just check out what's going on Facebook, and I come across Kimmy Robertson, who played what the hell's her name? Lucy Moran on Twin Peaks, and she posted, "Dear Showtime, I hope you're happy. P.S. You really, really suck." Then she posted on Facebook another thing that said, "When you get a degree in entertainment business, when they hand you the diploma, do you hand them your balls?" And then she posted kind of like one of those happy faces, but it's crying. Soon after, the website Twin Peaks, or Welcome to Twin Peaks, I should say, posted a thing that said, "I've got bad news. No official word yet, but it looks like the Twin Peaks on Showtime deal is dead. But remember, Twin Peaks will never die." So then I took to YouTube and did a quick little video going, I don't know what's going on, but something terrible is going on, because we had heard, remember a few weeks ago, that whole thing with David Lynch and the contract negotiations that we had talked about, Joe. Mm-hmm. And, we didn't know what all that was about. We just were speculating, theorizing, that type of thing. But obviously we now know what's going on. So I did a little video of it, just saying, what's going on? Let me know your thoughts. And a ton of people checked out the video, but then of course there were going to be more updates, so we knew we had to do this podcast. But I knew things were getting serious when Bill Hunt from the Digital Bits posted this: "Breaking news out of WonderCon. Showtime has apparently pulled the plug on the new Twin Peaks TV series. No word yet as to why." Now, when I saw that, I knew, oh shit, things are really serious, because for those of you who don't know, the Digital Bits do not report on anything that's unsubstantiated. So I knew that was this is too much. So, all right, then it's hard to know where to go from there. Let's see. Give me 1 second here, because there's so much to go through. Well, the thing was weird was that people were then immediately kind of split into two camps, right? I mean, there were people that were just like, oh my God, this is crazy. What's Showtime doing now? And then the other people were like, actually three camps, right? Because then there was the second people who were like blaming Lynch for whatever, money contract negotiations. We'll get to you in a second, Helena. But
Boxing, Helena.
Yeah, but then there was sort of the third group that didn't believe any of this, that thought this was a bunch of, hooey, basically, to drum up more excitement for the new series. Now, I could never get on board with that, because why would Showtime want to look like an asshole? So anyway, so then the Business Insider website posted about it, and that's when, it didn't become any more about Twin Peaks Facebook pages posting about this. This became about the real thing. So the website Twin Peaks Festival reached out to David Lynch's camp, and David Lynch's office replied back to them and said, "Dear Facebook friends, David wanted me to pass along the following statement. Showtime did not pull the plug on Twin Peaks. After 1 year and 4 months of negotiations, I left because not enough money was offered to do the script the way I felt it needed to be done. This weekend, I started to call actors to let them know I would not be directing. Twin Peaks may still be very much alive at Showtime. I love the world of Twin Peaks and wish things could have worked out differently." Then, I post on the Twin Peaks Worldwide page, I said, I have a definite feeling Mark Frost will end up directing this season. And a lot of people got on board with that, and some people were like, no, without Lynch, it's nothing. Twin Peaks is nothing. But as other people in the comments have posted, David Lynch is only responsible for directing 6 of the episodes. Mm-hmm. And, they're saying, oh, unless they're together working, it's not Twin Peaks. And so I counterattacked that with, okay, are you saying Fire Walk With Me is not Twin Peaks then? Because he did that without Mark Frost. Okay.
And a lot of season 1 too, because Lynch was shooting Wild at Heart, He shot that one episode, but that's it pretty much.
Mm-hmm. And
I mean, he wrote a couple, but he wrote all of these ones. So.
But I guarantee you, Joel, that Mark Frost, even though he's credited for directing that last episode of season 1, I have a feeling that him being the executive producer pretty much, had a hand in the entire season 1. Because
no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm saying Mark Frost. I'm saying to me, season 1 is sort of the anti-Fire Walk With Me. I think it's almost Mark Frost working without David Lynch, except that Lynch co-wrote a couple of the episodes and he directed that one. But otherwise, I get the feeling from reading about it, from Brad's book and other stuff, that it was basically Mark Frost, the showrunner in the Van Nuys studio. David Lynch was way off in the South shooting Wild at Heart, and Frost was pretty much running the show,
Exactly.
So that's sort of the analogy I'm making.
He doesn't get enough credit, Mark Frost. People forget
that
true,
he was
even to do. People hear Mark Frost, they don't know who he is. They know David Lynch. They go, oh, Twin Peaks, David Lynch, and I don't know. They don't know.
And in fact, when Fire Walk With Me first came out and it bombed, a lot of people, complained that it was because Lynch didn't work with Mark Frost. So, anyway, then I don't know who created this, but somebody made a Change.org campaign to save Twin Peaks.
That's fucking awful.
I thought you did it.
That was fast work.
That was not me.
That shit is for people who had people die, who need operations, not for TV. I'm sorry. That's maybe GoFundMe, but not Change. Not Change. That's weird.
It's just as important as cancer patients in my book. Okay.
So then people started posting.
We gotta save people from drop holes. It's a serious issue. So they might get stuck in there and never come out.
People started posting pictures saying no Lynch, no Peaks, etc., etc. And then Twin Peaks came out. Oh, not Twin Peaks. Showtime came out with a statement. Sorry, it's been a rough day. Showtime came out and issued this statement. We were saddened to read David Lynch's statement today since we believed we were working towards solutions with David and his reps on the few remaining deal points. Showtime also loves the world of Twin Peaks, and we continue to hold out hope that we can bring it back in all its glory with both of its extraordinary creators, David Lynch and Mark Frost, at the helm. Now, okay, so here's where we are at the moment. Of course, things can change at any minute, but okay, so there's a couple of things that can happen. One is Showtime allows Lynch and Frost to take Twin Peaks to another network. That is not going to happen.
No, because CBS owns the rights.
Well,
Netflix.
Well,
Netflix.
Yes, but CBS and Showtime, they're the same company. They own it.
CBS.
And also, hang on, Joel. And then with all the press this has gotten, do you think Showtime's going to just sit back and let HBO and Netflix take their money?
Would they prefer to just not have it at all and not have it made? They're not going to make money if they don't make it at all.
Yeah,
they might as well let it go.
They're going to look bad.
Well, they already look bad.
So
yeah, they already look a bit
my
bad.
understanding was Lynch Frost Productions owns the underlying copyright to Twin Peaks. CBS owns the rights to, distribute and make claims on the series, and MK2 owns the film. But I don't think that they could prevent a new Twin Peaks project from going forward unless Showtime, through the contracts, now owns these 9 new scripts. Well, then that would be would be a situation where they kind of have their heads over a barrel or whatever.
Well, here's the thing. David Lynch says that Twin Peaks may still happen without him. So that means for the first time in 25 years, David Lynch doesn't have veto power anymore. And So now that they have these scripts, here's the thing. Here's the other catch-22 about this. If David Lynch has not properly signed his contracts, Showtime may not be able to use their scripts, and Mark Frost will have to come up with a new storyline and new screenplays for the episodes
Oh my God.
if Lynch hasn't signed his contract.
What about the actors? Because it was...
Well, rumors...
I read it on Twitter, not on Facebook, and he said he's been calling the actors. If he's been calling the actors, they're obviously going to side with him.
Right.
That's what he's doing. This is
why he did it.
Go ahead, Joe.
It's a power play. This is a power play. Lynch is getting what he wants.
So too now.
I mean, it's the top trending item other than Happy Easter on Twitter.
Right.
For today. 50,000 people have tweeted it.
Right.
Angrily. God, people fucking hate me on Twitter right now. They hate me.
But, here, so if Lynch hasn't properly signed the contracts, they can't use his scripts. That means Frost will have to completely change the story, change everything. So
Why does he have to change the story?
Because
he'll know what's in the script.
Right,
he could just write it the same but a little different.
Well, yes, he can do that.
Keep the vision.
He can do that, but he has to rewrite Lynch's stuff. So, isn't
it a directing contract versus the writing contract?
Well, we don't know what contract.
I thought they already signed. Yeah, good point.
Well, Joel, I thought they would have signed everything.
What has been signed and what hasn't?
I think they would have signed everything before Showtime announced the series coming back.
It's all absurd. This is ridiculous. I've never seen anything like this.
No. Now, could it be though that maybe Lynch is just having second thoughts and he's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. My heart's not in it. I'm gonna walk.
I was wondering that too, honestly.
His heart is not in it.
Well,
I always said that. Yeah. He never seemed to show much interest,
okay,
I've got to say.
Okay,
I love David Lynch, but he doesn't show interest in Twin Peaks. He only started to show interest again when the Blu-ray came out and the sales were amazing. And the fact that it's a cult thing, like Rocky Horror, which exploded. It was all right on the TV. Rocky Horror bombed in the cinema, went crazy afterwards. So did Twin Peaks, and it's gained and gained and gained. I only discovered it 10 years ago, and I've got obsessed with it. So many other people my age, and the Blu-ray did very well. And
Helena, that's
suddenly
not exactly true. It did explode when it first came out. It did explode.
Yeah, when it first came out, but then after was it ABC? We're like, okay, reveal the killer, and then it kind of went. It got bad. It got bad.
It had already started. Cameron has pointed this out before. I mean, in between the two seasons when Wild at Heart came out, I mean, it had already started to be like an anti-Lynch kind of backlash.
Well, not only that, but you have to understand that the first Gulf War had happened. The show was being postponed. It was being moved from Thursday to Saturday, back to Thursday. But before you keep going, Helen, I just want to read one of your statements you posted today on Facebook.
Can I just say, when Twin Peaks came out, I was like 4 years old, so I wasn't.
No, it's fine. No, it's great. But you have a very unique voice in here that I think needs to be heard on this podcast. This is one of the reasons why I wanted you on here, and why I actually have been seeking to have you on these podcasts for over a year now.
You got me out of bed for this. I was literally on my pillow. It's like 3:30 in the morning.
That's why James couldn't be on it, because it's 3 a.m. there.
Well, James didn't want to be on it, I don't think, altogether, because he is pissed off.
He's very angry.
He's very angry. He's yelling at me. He's yelling at other people, and I didn't say anything. So anyway, Helena wrote, "I'm a huge Lynch fan. I own and love everything he's ever made, including Dune. But this cancellation was inevitable.
Yes, it was.
I generally believe that he was being difficult, and from previous articles was expecting a truckload of money for the almost inconvenience of rebooting this. He's never shown much of an interest in Twin Peaks until the cult status, and then the Blu-ray sales going crazy. He was never a massive part of the original series, so I don't understand why people are putting all their stock in him. Mark Frost was equally involved and still could be, and many other guest directors as before could be amazing. This all seems like petty greed. It actually feels weird for me to be bashing Lynch, but this whole project was shaky from the start. Why announce things before contract finalization?" So keep going, Helena.
That's a good point.
Okay, yeah. Why announce it? Why tweet a picture of Carl McLaughlin holding a cup of coffee saying welcome back? Why would you do that? Why would Showtime be announcing it? You don't do that. You're going to piss so many people off if it goes wrong.
Is it possible?
And it can always go wrong.
But is it possible that Lynch isn't running his Twitter account?
Nah, he doesn't really tweet very much, though. I mean, his last tweet before the ones today were... I think the last thing was the picture of Carl McLaughlin. He's not someone who's on there a lot. Right. Yeah, so he's not a prolific tweeter, so I think it is him.
But did you see what he did on Twitter? He released the same statement that he gave to Twin Peaks fans
on Facebook,
in piecemeal. Like every 4 minutes, he released the same statement.
Right.
Very Lynchian.
So let me throw this out to you one at a time. If it comes out that Mark Frost is going to take over let's be honest here. If this happens at all, which I think it will.
You really do? It's not happening, man. It's not happening.
Really? I think
I think they're going to give Lynch what he wants.
Day one.
That's what I think.
I think if Mark Frost has a book coming out, he's going to make sure this gets done.
From day one, right, when this first got announced, I was asleep. I woke up in the morning/afternoon, and I had my Facebook had gone crazy. All these people, like, hey, oh my God, Twin Peaks is back. People I don't really talk to that much. Like, oh my God, linking, sharing things, tagging me in things. I was like, oh my God. I was, excited. I was like, I said to my boyfriend, who was like, okay, chill out. I was like, until this literally is on my screen, I don't believe it's going to happen. There will be something. It's too good to be true. It's not going to happen. He was like, oh, just get excited and wait for it. I was like, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to get excited. I'm not putting any of my stock in this. It's not happening.
When all 9 hours have aired.
Well, that was my thing. And I said that earlier today, Joel. I said they should have just shot this whole series and then announced it.
Yes.
They couldn't have gotten away with it, though. It would have been
like Arrested Development. I never believed that was going to come
back. Richard Linklater makes one of those before sunrise movies and doesn't tell anybody, and all of a sudden it gets announced.
Yeah, but this is Twin Peaks. Somebody would have blew the whistle somehow,
They probably.
But I would have.
It's a nice idea. I agree with you in theory, totally.
I would have rather than blown the whistle halfway through shooting than a year and a half.
Yeah,
that would.
That would have been pretty cool, actually.
I mean, like if the first thing
by the way.
If the first thing we saw was Lynch on set with Kyle MacLachlan, saying we're starting.
Oh my God,
that would have been great. But yeah, so Joe, what do you think about all this?
I mean, the last time we spoke was when the first contract snag stuff had come out,
right?
And I was just like, whatever, they'll get it done, And then Showtime, when we were finishing the podcast, came out and said nothing out of the ordinary is going on. It's all pre-production stuff. Mm-hmm. But obviously today, when I saw Kimmy's tweet, her Facebook post,
right?
I mean, I was like, uh-oh, something's up, because why would she post that? And then I'm just like, and the first thing I said to James, and he was like, that's ludicrous. I was like, no, someone must have called her and said that something happened. I was like, Lynch or Jennifer Lynch or somebody said something, because she, I don't think, would do that,
No.
And he was like, that's ludicrous. I think, James thought she just wanted to get some attention, and then finally we were like,
that's not the kind of attention she would want.
Right. And then I was like, maybe he's right, but then it all started coming out through the day, and then David Lynch's tweets, and the Twin Peaks Fest thing with his statement before he released it piecemeal,
there were websites not even believing that statement. They were saying like, well, why would they contact the Twin Peaks Festival and issue that? I'm like,
right.
Well, they probably called him or called his office. I mean, okay, but one thing that's interesting is, remember when the contract negotiation problem was happening, and then Showtime came out and said, hey, I thought things were going good, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think there's no communication. I've got to say, it seems like Showtime thinks that one thing's happening and David Lynch is thinking something else.
Well,
no one is talking to each other.
Frost?
Yeah.
Where is Mark Frost in all this?
Has he tweeted about this?
No.
He hasn't said anything.
I think it's like good cop, bad cop.
But here's the thing, Joel.
Just get back on Twitter.
I mean, it says Showtime. Their statement says, we were saddened to read David Lynch's statement today. So that means that he didn't even tell them.
Clue.
He didn't even tell them where he stood. He just posted on Facebook to the Twin Peaks Festival before showtime that he was not coming back.
The UK Twin Peaks Festival too wasn't even it was like, that's a great point.
Why would you not tell the network that's potentially going to pay you to do this instead of like you said, the UK Twin Peaks Festival?
It's immature.
My take is
there's a lot of people very excited about this. That's not okay to do that.
It's a negotiation
I get that it's a TV show, and if it doesn't happen, no one's going to die or anything. But it's not really okay. It's not okay. We were all excited about this.
We were.
You may die.
I never thought before the October announcement. I never thought Twin Peaks would probably come back. If anything, and this is one of the other things Showtime could do, and this worries me. And I have said this from mid 2013, Joe, when we started doing these podcasts, and you and James would totally make fun of me. I said that if Twin Peaks ever came back, it would come back rebooted, kind of like the 90210 series, where Mark Frost and David Lynch would just be off the project.
Well, maybe it will now.
Well, that's the thing, Joel. No, that's the thing.
That would be pretty terrible.
It'll come back like Dallas, because if Mark Frost walks away and David Lynch walks away and the cast walks away in solidarity, Showtime still has the show, and they can just make a new version of Twin Peaks. And you know what?
So
there might be a lot of people that will be like, screw that, fuck them. But there'll be a lot of new people going, what's this Twin Peaks show? It's like Fargo? So
I think it would be too much bad PR for them that just would blow up in their face.
Well, I think it's bad.
Even if they could salvage it somewhat.
It's bad PR that David Lynch is releasing a statement through Facebook instead of telling Showtime.
Exactly.
So
for them it is.
But
for him, if it's a cynical move, if it's a cynical move on his part, it's kind of a dick move, especially if he actually called the cast and told them that, and he thinks that he may still be involved. Then that would be pretty Machiavellian. But in terms of PR, as some people have pointed out, it's a pretty good move on his part, because the narrative is now set. Evil, and this is what you were saying before, sort of the line of the evil corporations, stifling it. That's the narrative that people are going to run with. And if anything is going to get him back in, it's going to be that, sort of forcing Showtime to cave. So my take on it, and it's totally speculative, I think their negotiations, I don't know what the sticking point was, but there must have been some sticking point where they just would not budge, and they looked at each other and they said, let's be real here. David Lynch isn't leaving the show. He's been throwing too much weight around. Let's tell him where he stands, and, what's he going to do? And he called their bluff and walked, and now, they're kind of fucked, and they're going to have to, I think what Joe said is true. I think, and I didn't think this even a few hours ago. Before I saw the Showtime statement, I thought this was probably it for David Lynch's involvement. I think I don't know if it's a totally conscious maneuver on his part. I think maybe he believes, okay, this is it, I'm out. But I think what's going to happen is Showtime is going to do everything they can possibly do to get him back and basically concede victory to him and give him carte blanche, because it's just too much of a disaster for them to let him walk off the project.
But we don't really know what the things were that he left for, though.
Well,
he said money for what? Production money. Right. So if the script is written,
it's very strange.
So it's money to hire the actors, money for the sets, money for the the film, money for what? What is the money for?
Exactly.
Is it for David Lynch's pocket? What is it for? That's what I thought it was.
He made a smart move, though, because he made it.
Go ahead,
he made it sound like it was money that he needs to shoot it. And even if it isn't, saying it that way suddenly puts, if he had said, well, I love the world of Twin Peaks, but I'm not going to get, 50% gross of Angelo Badalamenti soundtrack score in the UK markets, nobody would have, nobody would have been upset about. They would have been upset at David Lynch rather than Showtime.
If Lynch is lying, But if Lynch is lying about why he,
how are they going to show that he's lying?
No, but if he is, let's say he's walking away for another reason, but just saying this, Showtime will just come out and say, this is the real reason Lynch walked away, and make him look bad. But Helena, let's talk about you real quick. You are actually citing, from what you have read so far, you think that Lynch walking away is his own undoing. Can you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Well, as I said, I feel like he's never really had an interest in bringing this back. And then, suddenly it's happening. I said, this is not happening. A lot of people I've noticed have been like, oh my God, please, David, change.org will give you our hard-earned money, please, we're desperate. Like, if I was David Lynch, like the way I feel about Twin Peaks, I'm very passionate about Twin Peaks. I have borderline mental issues with Twin Peaks. I love Twin Peaks.
Can you show us your bedspread again?
Yeah, if this was my show, I was David Lynch and I loved it the way I do. Fuck Showtime. He's got so much money. Oh my God. I'd fund it myself. I wouldn't give a fuck. I'd be like, I want to fund this shit. Fuck you.
Well,
do what I want.
Well, here's
that's my bedspread.
Look at that. It's beautiful.
That's like a...
He's really not as loaded as you're making him out to be, though. He's not like James
really?
Cameron loaded. Like,
no, he's not James Cameron loaded, but he could afford to. I'm not saying he should,
but
I'm saying he could.
The money for the scripts that they weren't putting up. Yeah. That's what he said.
But here's the thing, Joe.
What is money for the scripts? I could write you a script for free.
Twin Peaks. I
will. I'll write the script.
No, I understand this.
I want to read it.
I understand this was 1990, but in 1990, each episode of Twin Peaks cost $1 million.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is peanuts today.
Right, but I'm just saying that, like, even if with inflation, let's say each episode was $3 million. I mean, what do you think Showtime spends on Homeland, for God's sakes?
Exactly.
Right, so why wouldn't they spend it for Twin Peaks?
But are they not? I mean, that's the thing. I mean,
here's the thing.
I don't think this is Showtime. I think this is David Lynch being difficult. I really do. I love David Lynch. Like, it's the first bad thing I've ever said about him. Like, if my ex was watching this, he'd be like, his head would explode. Like, oh my God, she's bashing David Lynch. She has her brain died. Like, he's just... I knew something was going to go wrong with this, and I genuinely believed it was going to be something to do with him being fussy. I mean, he's getting on a bit, maybe senility.
Well, hang on.
Peaks fans, Cam will tell you, we always expect the worst with that kind of stuff anyway.
Well, look at this. Look at the way he had to deal with Dino De Laurentiis' company with Dune. The way he had to handle ABC with Twin Peaks and On the Air. The way he had to deal with ABC and Mulholland Drive. The guy, as much as I love him, is not suited for television.
Bad track record.
He's not
do you mean Mulholland Drive, the TV show?
He's not a businessman. He's not a businessman. He doesn't like these kind of negotiations.
Right.
No, he seems like one of those people.
I don't know.
Like,
though. I think
he's agreed to something.
He might be pretty good at it.
Oh, I want to do this. Oh, look, a shiny thing. I'm going to go over here now. He seems like someone like that.
Great, as I think Joel was trying to say, he probably has a great poker face. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's David Lynch. If anyone has a poker face, it'd be him.
But here's the thing.
And I don't think, just to clarify though, I don't think, like, I wouldn't totally say, oh, he's totally lying and it's totally, I think it's complex. There's a bunch of different aspects of the negotiation, and some of it, I'm sure, is the fact that they don't want to give him the production budget. He probably wants to shoot it all on location or something like that. So I think that's part of it. I think there are also, more sort of shrewd business deal type things in it.
Why put
But I'm
in
just
his
saying,
statement?
by presenting it, by focusing, well, that's what I'm saying, by focusing just on producing the scripts the way they're meant to be produced, putting it in those terms, even if that's only a part of it, right away that puts Showtime in the hot seat and nobody is going to sympathize with them. So that's where I kind of disagree somewhat with the idea that he's kind of shooting himself in the foot. I think we know he's a stubborn guy. He likes to do things exactly the way he likes to do them. And I think with that in mind, if he really feels like Showtime is not going to let him, do what he wants to do, the best way he could possibly counter their hardball is with this. So in that sense, it's a brilliant maneuver.
But
now, as far as him not wanting to do Twin Peaks, there is something a little bit to that, I think. I do think the show means a lot to him. I think it's I would say, I agree with Helena that it's obviously not something, he was as involved with as people think. But I think the parts he was involved with and, the legacy it's had probably mean more to him than any of his other projects. So I think...
But I don't think he wants to go out as the director of Inland Empire,
I know, my God. Well, I dragged my friend to see that. She was just like, don't ever take me to the cinema ever again. I was like, I'm so sorry. Mulholland Drive was good. I had faith.
But here's the thing, though. Joel, I just want to say, he specifically wrote in his statement, after 1 year and 4 months of negotiations. So he's purposely putting a timetable thing. But we know from Mark Frost that they've been working on the scripts for 3 years.
4 years.
Or 4 years now. So he's been working on this thing for a long time. I would have thought when the announcement got made that everyone had been signed, the budgets had been approved. I mean, why are they still working out the budgets?
I have a question.
Yes.
The other day, I can't remember where I read this. Sorry. I can't remember where I read this, but it was saying that he wanted in his contract for it to be the equivalent of him doing 9 films for them and getting paid for the equivalent of as if he was making 9 feature-length movies.
Now, the only way that
what's up with that?
Well, if that is true, he basically wants his directing fee for a movie times 9. Yeah. But here's the thing. That will only work, and this will get Joe excited. This would only work if each episode was at least 90 minutes in length, which would be great. But because then you're not paying him for 9 hours, you're paying him for 9 movies.
So that's fair, but maybe he was asking for that, but not actually.
Well, Showtime can't afford $10 million per film.
Right.
That's a $90 million paycheck he would ask for.
Maybe that's maybe that was the issue.
Yes, but then why announce it?
Issue.
I mean,
maybe he changed his mind,
or maybe he had them announce it, thinking that with this much, pressure, they would have to pay him his fee.
Yeah, so he didn't sign anything. He said to them, yeah, we'll do this. We'll hash the details out later. And they announce it. Everyone's excited. And then he's like, so, my actual terms. And then they're like, fuck, we can't afford that. We can't do that. We can't do that. And then he's like, well, I'm going to... And then everyone's, everyone's angry. And then he gets his way. I have such a bad feeling about this.
What I think he's doing is... He found out what the guy who did...
What he wants.
Yeah, what the guy who did True Detective got, what the guy who David Fincher got. He just is doing something right for HBO.
I love David Fincher. I said he should take over.
And then he was like, wait a second, this isn't what I'm getting from Showtime. And he's like, fuck that. Like, I'm David Lynch. Like, why... I should get what they're getting. And that's what I think happened.
And Mark Frost is just staying out of it and just like, okay, maybe if I just stay back here and play the good guy, the directing chair will just be handed over to me.
I think people would be on board with that, though. I mean, the boards that most of them, they want Lynch, but I think they would be very happy with just Frost. I think. Well,
here's the thing: what if Frost didn't direct the whole thing? What if they brought back? Joel, what do you think about this? What if they brought back some of the other directors from season 1 that have gone on to do extraordinary episodes of television that are still working?
Not Diane Keaton, though.
But Diane Keaton. But apparently, Diane Keaton's cousin is someone we should all be listening to. Did you hear about that?
No, wasn't it her cousin? It was like her cousin's brother's assistant or something like that.
What?
It was like a very tenuous connection.
Joe, why don't you tell Helena that funny story?
Okay.
Yeah, it was the guy started tweeting on Twitter, and he was a friend of Diane Keaton's cousin, and apparently he was the end-all, be-all of Twin Peaks news.
And he started being quoted on legitimate Twin Peaks sites as a news source. Think about that. Okay.
Did you know that Jesus just resurrected in my garden? It's true because I said it. It's crazy.
Here's the thing,
today is Easter, so he did.
Yeah, he did.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Well, you're not in the UK anymore, though, right?
Well, if you are going to if you're going to kill Twin Peaks, why didn't they announce this news on Good Friday? Why on Easter Sunday?
Yeah, I know.
give us time for the resurrection. Yeah. Well, I think I still have this vague suspicion that the 25th anniversary date is going to be like the some sort of resurrection or whatever. Like I think, and especially now that Showtime has kind of hinted that they're not, they haven't actually nixed the show. So
well, like I said, it's their bread and butter. They're not going to nix it, but it will come back. It will be like what Dino De Laurentiis said when Jonathan Demme refused to make Hannibal, the sequel to Silence of the Lambs. He said, in Italy, when the Pope dies, we get a new Pope. So I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to find another director to take it over. Now,
Hannibal was an awesome film.
Oh, I love it. But I'm saying that people say, well, no one in their right mind would dare take over Twin Peaks and do it underneath David Lynch. And I'm like, well, Mick Garris did The Shining. He had no problem doing that from Stanley Kubrick. So
Christ, that series is awful though.
But what I'm saying though is that there's always a director out there hungry enough. They'll be like, sure, I'll do it.
So. Twin Peaks.
Well, yeah, there's definitely a director,
we don't want that. Though. We don't
Showtime
want
could get away with
director.
that.
We want a good one. We want people who
What
care.
if we air on the 25th anniversary or whatever it is that on April 8th or whatever? It's going to be like Twin Peaks from the director of such films as Transformers and Ninja Turtles, Michael Bay.
Oh God.
Hey, at least
don't even say that.
Can you imagine? Oh my God!
At least
Michael Bay Twin Peaks.
At least Audrey would be hot.
Mass suicide day.
There'd be so many upskirt shots. It would be unbelievable.
Everything's CGI. There's CGI coffee cups everywhere. It's like
But here's the thing.
Megan Fox playing Audrey Horne.
Let's say
he'd restage the end of Firewalk with Me, but instead of Laura and Cooper looking at an angel, it would be 7 fighter jets just roaring over their heads, with fireworks going off in the background.
Laura would be played by Reese.
Yeah, with James Early zooming through the screen with his sunglasses on.
Yeah. I mean, the way Michael Bay would shoot Hurley on that motorcycle would be incredible, though. But one thing is interesting is that if Showtime or CBS own the show, right? Let's say own the IP Twin Peaks. If Lynch and Frost walk and they don't allow their scripts to be used, that means that they will take the characters with them. Right. So Showtime, instead of it being a continuation, it will be a reboot.
I think they would give up at that point because they know that no one will watch that. Come on, they know that. You can't. No, one would watch. The backlash would be even worse than cancelling it.
Yeah. Let's
face it. If you got rid of everybody and we're like, Twin Peaks, right, here's a load of teenagers. No one would watch
Bathing
that.
under Snoqualmie Falls, just in the opening credits.
I know someone who lives in Snoqualmie. It's so pretty.
With Paula Cole's songs, I don't want to wait. Like the opening of Dawson's Creek all over again. Showtime.
But do you think that Showtime wouldn't? Let's say David Lynch will come back obviously he will come back if they give him whatever he wants. Do you think won't back down? They definitely won't back down now?
No, but why? Okay, here's the thing though. He has just raked them through the mud again for the second time in 3 weeks. Do they even want him back?
Yeah, they will want him back.
Yeah, they need the.
Do you think he will come back?
PR.
He's made a big fuss now. If they give him what it was, is he going to suddenly tweet, "Hey, I'm back again"? Everyone's going to be like, "Yeah, sure you are. Yeah, thanks for that." People. There's backlash either way.
Let's talk about the other precedent that I really kind of don't want to happen. People are saying, "Oh, we should set up a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe and get the difference of what David Lynch needs, so we can pay to have these episodes made the way we want." And my attitude to that is, do we want studios saying, well, we were going to give Batman $175 million, but we'll only pay you $75. If you want $175, get the fans to fund your Batman movie. I don't want it where yes, obviously the fans would do it, but do we want studios asking for more money from fans and fans aren't going to get paid back?
I don't think that's happened before.
Oh, it's happened.
Oh, what about Veronica Mars?
Veronica Mars.
Yeah.
But that was a little different.
That was a movie.
That was a little different because Warner Brothers wasn't going to give any money. This is talking about splitting the difference where the fans and Showtime where the fans and Showtime would come together to pay David Lynch. I don't like that at all. You know, I mean, yes, people would be happy to see it, but how do we know that someone's just not asking for a little bit extra money, you know, and we're funding, you know,
Right.
Kyle MacLachlan's coffee habit or something?
Oh, I think Kyle is lovely. I don't think he had anything to do with it.
No, I'm just teasing.
Okay, how about this? He's signed, right?
Yeah.
Isn't he the only actor who signed? So he's stuck doing this no matter what happens.
Theoretically, yes.
That's going to be interesting.
Whether
The
you like
Adventures of
it or
Agent
not.
Cooper on the road.
No, what they'll call it is Agent Cooper's Mysteries. And
Each week he goes to a different town,
Yeah.
kills the person as Bob,
It'll
and then he solves it as Cooper.
it'll be like that show in the 80s, The Hitchhiker, that they aired.
Yeah.
I was hoping they were going to go with that really awesome storyline that I saw someone had done like a fanfic thing on the internet. They said Laura didn't really die, her doppelganger died, and Laura's really alive in the Black Lodge. I was like, oh my god, my mind just
Well,
melted.
they kind of
That'd be
defeated
so
that with
amazing.
Maddie. They could have done that with Maddie if they wanted, and they didn't, so
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like that
don't
route's
know.
dead.
No, it's not dead, it's alive.
So let's go around real quick and just say, do you think this Twin Peaks, obviously this Twin Peaks thing is still going to happen. Showtime says it's coming out 2016.
So it's not happening.
I know,
Can
but-
I just
Go
one
ahead.
more thing? I was at the Twin Peaks the UK festival last year, and they had Cheryl Lee and Christ, I've forgotten his name, Bobby Briggs,
Is it Dana? Dana Ashbrook?
Dana Ashbrook, that's the one. And they had a very long sit down in front of everyone. They talked about it. They both talked to David Lynch. I don't think anything had been signed, but they were 100% like, yeah, there's all this stuff happening moving forward. We know all this cool stuff, and like, I went to when we did the actual signing of the things, we went to them on our own. I went on my own. I spoke to her. She was here. I was like, is it happening? Is it really, really happening? She was like, yeah, 100%. It is happening. This is happening. So all the actors, they're on board. They think it's happening. They don't know about all this weirdness. Like, do you think a call from David would really? Do you think do you think they would stick with him on this? Do you really?
Well,
Because they're not doing a whole lot. Most of the actors.
Right.
I don't want to sound mean, but a lot of them are not.
Yeah, it would be kind of cruel if he
They're not
called
doing a
them
whole
just as a negotiating tactic.
Well, not only that, but in my interview with Catherine,
me.
Coulson, she kind of hinted that she's been involved with this discussion, and so I don't know. But Helen, I'm surprised you just didn't get that close to Cheryl Lee's face and say, "No, it's not happening." Since you said that to your boyfriend that it wasn't happening right from the very start. So.
No, I don't want to do that. I was so drunk when I met her. Oh god. No, I was bored in the line, so I was just like beer. It was bad. I do remember bits of it, but yeah, it was fun. They were so nice. They were like, they spent the whole day at that thing. I mean, I would have been exhausted if I was them. And they even hung out to the end and watched us doing the stupid quiz and like all screaming and messing around. Like they were the best.
So
I'm gonna be so sad. They're so lovely.
Joe, okay, so let's say that this is happening, that Showtime has confirmed that it is coming out 2016. If David Lynch does come back, and I say if, how it's gonna happen quicker than later. So if it does happen, do you think by like Tuesday he'll be back, or do you think it's done?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be quick. I think
Wednesday, the 25th anniversary. That's my call.
They'll drag it on. I mean, nothing's.
No,
everything's very slow with this. Everything's like an announcement, then months later, it might not be happening then.
In order to be on schedule, they have to start filming soon.
Right.
So that's what this whole thing is about, and I think that's why Lynch started to drop these bombshells, because they haven't started doing any of that stuff yet. And you just got these scripts waiting for people, and the actors are just hanging on. So I just think that, I think we're going to hear something, because they're already starting to backpedal Showtime with that statement.
Yeah, totally.
So it's like, it's, shit or get off the pot time, Here's
another thing, too. We know that Lynch called the actors and told them it wasn't happening, and we're all kind of wondering, like, he loves actors. Why would he put them through that if he thought it was just Maybe he told him, look, this is not going to happen, but if you put this on Facebook and you say something, maybe we can get this. Because Maid Shinaunik, I'm looking, she just tweeted something like an hour ago saying, go Pixies, go. I love it. What they don't seem to understand is that the viewers have the power.
I saw that. So
they're kind of playing this up like help us save the show. So maybe it is a conscious strategy on his part, but the actors are kind of part of it. Just a thought. I don't know if that's true, but
you'll be happy to know that we have just gotten a message from Miss Kimmy Robertson.
Uh-oh.
And she wrote, I have only one thing to say to your viewers. No David Lynch, no Twin Peaks.
That's her opinion.
Interesting.
So at least she answered us.
It very much could happen without him. I get the actors probably wouldn't like it too, and probably 80+% of the fans.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
But here's the thing, though. I have been saying for a couple of years now that that I was surprised that this hadn't been rebooted before, because obviously ABC or whoever owned the rights at that time ended up being CBS Showtime. They could have brought this back at any time. But one of the things that kept being told to me is, no, Mark Frost and David Lynch own the rights, and that's why, and they do everything together, which is why the comic book didn't happen, which is why a lot of different things never went through. But now CBS and Showtime have made this deal. So David Lynch is saying, like, okay, well, it may be happening without me. So that means, like I said, for the first time, Lynch doesn't have any veto power. And if he walks and Frost stays on, or Frost walks, Showtime owns it now. They own the title. They don't own the characters. So they can pull the characters, they can pull the script. Showtime could theoretically just get a bunch of hack writers to come in, write a bunch of stuff. They direct it, and have it out by 2016, a whole new series. The retelling of Laura Palmer's story from, for 2016. It could.
If they did it like True Detective, maybe it could work with new people, but I highly doubt it.
Well, I mean, it's like this. I mean, how many times have they rebooted Star Trek? The original Trekkies complain, but there's always a new audience that accepts it and moves forward.
I like Deep Space Nine. I don't like the original one.
No, but I'm saying like J.J. Abrams, when he took it over, people were like, oh, God, and...
people like those. I haven't seen them, but
but the Star Trek fans of the original movies and the original series, they don't like them, but the new audience loves it, So maybe we'll get that. We'll get that, a slam-bang, action-packed new version of Twin Peaks.
But it could be... Can you imagine if it's like Arrested Development, where the first 3 seasons are like Jesus Christ on a plate, and then the 4th season is a literal heap of shit. It was so bad. I refuse to watch it again.
Some people think season 2 of Twin Peaks was really bad, so maybe this will be better. I disagree, but
Twin Peaks season 2 is still better than Arrested Development season 4, and that had all the characters. So they could have all the people, including Lynch, and still fuck it up. You never know.
I just hope that maybe if they do, I don't know, maybe Lynch and Frost will give Showtime Evelyn Marsh and Little Nicky, and they can just move forward with the series.
We'll give you these two. And Robin Lively, right? What was her name?
Oh, Robin
the mayor's wife?
Yeah, the mayor's wife. The worst character in the whole series.
Oh, I liked
her. Bad.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Sorry.
She was the teen witch.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, she's Blake Lively's sister.
Oh, I take it back then.
From Gossip Girl. Yeah. She's all right. What was it? Lana. Was it Lana?
Yeah, Lana.
Yeah.
So, Joel, do you think, do you think Twin Peaks will still happen, or do you think Showtime will pull the plug? And do you think Lynch will still be involved, or do you think Mark Frost will take it over, or do you think they'll both walk?
Based on Showtime's statement, I think I don't think it'll happen without David Lynch, and I think they'll do what's necessary to get him back. And they're probably seething about it. But, he played his cards well. I think even if he doesn't have veto power in the contract, the veto power is public opinion, and he's got that on his side. So I think he played this pretty smart. And whatever it's about, if it's about, a bunch of contract stuff, if it's specifically about a production budget for the show or whatever the case may be, I don't think it's a bluff. I think he'll walk. I think, he said he's leaving if he doesn't get what he wants, and he will, but I think they'll give him what he wants.
But do you think when they said, we were saddened to read David Lynch's statement today,
yeah.
I mean, do you think a company would give somebody what they wanted after they've just made you look like an asshole for the last month? I mean, would you give somebody?
I think it happens all the time in business. It's not about their ego is shattered, but it's more important to have a strong hand going forward. So I think at this point they have to admit defeat and move on, and maybe I'm sure they'll try and find maybe some other way to get back at him if they can, or they'll just throw in the towel and say whatever he won. But if they just want to be vindictive about it, they're only shooting themselves in the foot. Because he said he'll leave, and he will, and it won't be the end of the world for him. He'll be upset about it, but he'll move on to another project. Whereas on the other hand, if they let this go, heads are probably already gonna roll. But if they let this go, they've got so much egg on their face, it's unbelievable. They're just gonna look like fools in the business in the. Do you know how many people were prepared to get the network just for this one thing? Exactly. And at this point they committed themselves, and they basically got put over the barrel on this. And I think that's it. They're either going to lose the show, or they're going to try some really desperate maneuver to keep it without Lynch and maybe without Frost and without a bunch of the cast, which is not going to work out for them, or they're going to just sit back and say, you won, what do you want?
Well, one of the things that I
think that's what's going to happen.
One of the things I talked with Joe about last time was, one of the things we speculated was about that maybe the contract negotiation was the fact that Lynch wants this season to be a one and done, but if it's a big hit, and we know it would be because of all the subscriptions that would happen, Showtime is not going to want this to be one and done. They don't want to lose those subscribers, so they'd want to keep this for another 3-4 seasons,
Well, I don't know how that, I don't know anything about TV contracts, so I don't know how that stuff works, but I'm guessing, I don't think he'd want it to be definitely one and done, but I think he would want that option for sure. I don't think he'd want to be forced into continuing it beyond the 9 episodes if he didn't have further inspiration. And I think that's the other part of this. I think Helena was saying, and I kind of agree, I don't think it's that so much that he doesn't want to do it, as that he's always kind of ambivalent about this stuff, and he has been making some sort of odd statements. And I feel like, in a way, this is him trying to kind of get his mojo back. Like, maybe he's been having some doubts about doing it, and while he was location scouting or meditating or whatever, whatever he was doing, he had an idea, maybe involving location shooting or some other aspect that would be more expensive and they wouldn't want. They balked. They didn't like it. And along with all the other stuff going on, that was like, I'm not going to do this if I'm not feeling the inspiration, because I've done that before, and, look what happened. So I kind of think somehow when we get the whole story on this, it's going to be a mixture of all that. It's going to be a mixture of, business motives. It's going to be a mixture of, creative inspiration and feeling I don't think it's total BS what he tweeted at all. I definitely think there's truth to that. I think there may be more to it than that. But I think he definitely believes that he, the show is not going to work unless he does it exactly the way he wants to do it. And Showtime on one aspect or another is kind of holding him back.
Well, speaking of Showtime,
he doesn't want a repeat of season 2 Twin Peaks.
Well,
didn't Showtime already say that we're letting him do what he wants?
Yes.
I swear to God, there was some kind of statement from them, he's got free reign. So why wouldn't they give him the money to do that?
In fact, they even made a statement. They even made a statement saying that David Lynch can do whatever he wants. We just write the checks.
I saw that.
I mean, it's not, unless he's hiring, I don't know, Angelina Jolie or Leonardo DiCaprio to be in every scene of it. It's not going to cost that much.
It's Heather Graham. Heather Graham's asking for the sky.
I can't wait to read the oral history for the Showtime series. That's going to be one hell of a read.
I don't know.
They're really going to have Heather Graham back, are they? I don't like that at all.
But
she ruined it.
But Well, hang on.
Grumpy cow. No one likes
we
her.
don't want to derail the podcast because I'll start defending her. But what's interesting? But what's interesting about Showtime is that Showtime has been plummeted with negative remarks, huh, Joe? They have been destroyed on their Facebook. Let's just read some of the fun ones.
I haven't even got to them. I need to start
people are angry. Let me tell you.
Someone on Twitter was upset because I called David Lynch a cunt, and they were like, "What? He is Jesus. You can't call him that." Blah blah blah. Come on now. It's my opinion.
People, how dare you cancel Twin Peaks? Showtime, you're really screwing up. We were gonna subscribe, no longer. I also pulled the plug. Here's the big thing. Here's one of the things that Showtime will fear. Not so much that they didn't get new subscribers, because that's just like money they didn't have anyway. But if subscribers they have leave because of this, right? If you want to hit someone hard, right? If you want to hit a company hard, you hit them in the pocketbooks. So a lot of people are saying, I cannot wait to cancel your service. I was gonna get a subscription, but now I won't. Can't believe you're messing around with Twin Peaks. Unless David Lynch's demands were unreasonable beyond words, which I strongly doubt, since he works mostly in a low-budget world, you are making one of the single biggest blunders in television history. Pry open your wallet and let Lynch do things his way, period. So, I don't know. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Just go on the Facebook page of Showtime. Everything, whether it's Shameless, whether it's things with Aaron Paul, no matter what the topic is, there's like 150 comments of people just destroying them about Twin Peaks right now.
Aww. I'm not on their page. I need to get on their page. Can I just say, I've actually never heard of Showtime until the Twin Peaks thing. Not a clue what that is. Really? I see. Is it a channel? Yeah. Or is it more like HBO?
It's like HBO, but it's like HBO's stepchild, cousin's brother's nephew. It's like,
they should give it to HBO because they did Rome, and Rome was awesome.
But like Joe said, though, CBS Showtime owns Twin Peaks, and so even if they let them take it with them, it'll never happen because why would they want to lose all that money?
They'll fight it.
And somebody claims that they had to, I don't know how this works either, but that they had to pay Showtime. Whoever took over Twin Peaks would have to pay them back what they already paid to Lynch and Frost and for travel costs and, pre-production and all this other stuff. So I don't know if that's true, but if it is, that obviously would be somewhat intimidating. They'd have to really want it, to not just invest in it, but to pay back Showtime for what they already lost.
Yeah, and you can't just take your show over to Netflix. It's not like just I'll take my toys over to this playground over here. That would take almost a year in negotiations right from there. And the problem is, Joe, remember a few years ago, Netflix came out and just said, whatever Lynch and Frost want to do, they want to do it, we're there. Mm-hmm. They should have taken up their offer with them right away.
Oh, Mom.
But little did we know they had already been negotiating with Showtime.
Exactly. But can I just say one thing? Showtime, CBS, whoever you are, MK2 or whatever, please reissue the Blu-ray set again. I want another set where I don't have to autocorrect the sound every time I want to watch a disc. Yes, please.
The lips.
Yeah.
Every time I watch Fire Walk With Me, I have to put the lip sync thing on my smart TV. It sucks.
Exactly. It took me.
I haven't had trouble. I saw a little bit with the missing pieces in episode 9 for some reason.
Right.
But
somebody wrote, if you guys can't get David Lynch back, this is Showtime, please just let Twin Peaks be. I know I won't be watching if he's not involved. I don't know a single fan who will. Revive it the right way or let it rest in peace. I don't know. Do we want Brett Ratner coming in and taking over? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's Lynch or Buck. I think Jimmy Robertson's right. I think it's. I just don't see any way out of it for Showtime. They lose if they do it without him. They lose if they let the show die. and they kind of lose if he comes back, but they lose the least out of any of those other options. So I think they have to let him come back and give him whatever he wants.
I feel bad for Mark
It just seems like a no-win situation for them, and that's the least worst option as far as they're concerned.
Hey, well, okay. One, I feel bad for Mark Frost because Lynch was able to do Fire Walk with him without him, and no one gave a shit. Two, he's got this book coming out.
Yeah, I know, that's true. That's going to feel kind of crappy.
And, like I said, he's got this book coming out this year. So is it possible then, if Showtime nixes it, will Mark Frost turn these scripts into a follow-up book? Do you want to read season 3 of what could have been as a novella?
No.
Here's my alternate universe version of what's going to happen. I don't think this will actually happen. But what if, Mark Frost says, fuck this, I've been waiting for this 25 years, David, go to hell, and he goes and directs the show. And David says, all right, well, fuck you, Mark Frost, I'm going to make another Firewalk movie. He goes and makes like another film. And you have like 2 alternate versions of Twin Peaks coming out at the same time. That would be a trip. I don't think it'll happen.
That actually makes me kind of giddy, actually. That would be exciting.
I know. Part of me is like, wouldn't that be awful? And the other part's like, that would actually be really interesting because the show itself was already kind of divided at times. But to literally have, I don't want that. I'd much rather they go forward with the actual Showtime series. But
I know why you'd want it, because it would give you enough material to make about 50 million more videos on YouTube, comparing and contrasting everything.
That's true. God, that would be. Yeah. No, honestly, obviously, I hope Lynch Frost come together. They do this. Showtime, admits their defeat. That would be an interesting alternate universe in which
but my question,
all of a sudden there's like a proliferation of multiple versions of Twin Peaks, and then Harley Payton does his own. Yeah.
But I guess my last question is: if Mark Frost decided to just direct it himself, would you be okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I would.
Because David Lynch was not that to do with original Twin Peaks. He wasn't there, He put his name on it and he's associated with it, but he really was not responsible for most of it. He wasn't anything to do with it. My 2 favorite episodes, he was absolutely nothing to do with whatsoever. So
what were the 2 episodes?
I should look up who directed those. The episode, I don't know what the numbers are.
What happens in it?
Oh, it's the 2, it's the one where Maddie dies, and the one where
Lynch directed that one.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I really didn't. Oh, never mind.
You mean the one where Leland dies?
And the one where
that one.
Yeah, the one where Leland dies is my favorite episode.
That's Tim Hunter.
Oh, okay. I got you.
We want Tim Hunter. I swear I read that he didn't do the other one too. That's weird. Maybe he did that scene. I don't know. I just like that scene. It's like crazy. He did the last episode, didn't he?
Right. Now, see, that's one of the bone of contentions when I brought up the fact is like, let's let Mark Frost do it. Somebody else wrote,
that's my contention.
They said, well, if Mark Frost did it, we'd get more Bob being a dentist. And it's like, well,
what?
In the final episode, Bob was going to be a dentist and Cooper was going to be his patient in a dentist chair. And in the Black Lodge, it was going to be like a dentistry. And Lynch came in and said...
Wyndham Rowe was going to give like huge long speeches for like half an hour.
Yeah, and Lynch said no and threw it all away. And
oh my good God, that would have been so bad.
But Joel, I understand that like they say that about the last episode.
Well, no, that wasn't what I thought you were going to say something else.
No, but I don't think for a second they would have shot that.
You wouldn't want the whole series being like the last episode. That fucking scream. You would just go deaf, weird stuff. It's too much weird. It's good for one episode, but you don't want too much weird because it's nice to be able to follow it, unlike a lot of David Lynch's films.
That's
what I like about Twin Peaks.
That's why the first season was so good, because you had Frost to balance that out.
Right. But Joe, I know it. I know what the budget problem is. I know what it has to be.
What?
Showtime won't let David Bowie come back.
And David, oh God!
Can you imagine this whole thing was about David Bowie?
Well, he got paid. What did he get paid? $250,000 for 3 hours?
Really?
For Firewalk?
He was only in it for about 5 seconds.
And like a zoot suit.
And then a little bit more in the extended one. I would like to know more about that, but if it comes to it and he's going to charge millions, go away, David.
Well, the funny thing about the missing pieces scene, they show that scene that takes place in Buenos Aires, and the camera pans around. We see everyone dancing and stuff. And everyone's like, "Oh, what a beautiful shot!" But if you look in the background, you see David Bowie's shoes just standing there, like he's waiting for his action, David Bowie. And then he walks.
Really?
You see his shoes.
Oh my god, I've never seen that. I've never looked.
It's hilarious. It's like that shot never would have been in the movie. Never.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, but Joe, let me just ask you. So let's just say Lynch doesn't come back. Would you want them to proceed with the scripts with another director, even if it's Mark Frost? Or do you think Showtime should just pull it? If Showtime pulls it, you will be pissed. I know it.
Yeah, no, I'll be pissed if it gets pulled. I just think there's so much now riding on it that they can't just pull it. It's going to happen. I just don't know with or without Lynch. And we're going to be missing something if it's without Lynch, obviously, because those Lynch directed episodes that you remember those, and they have that feel to it. And as much as Fire Walk with Me got bombarded by critics, it was something I really enjoy watching, and
it's aged very well.
It's aged as well as most of his films. Like, I've watched Blue Velvet and Fire Walk with Me recently, and
Blue Velvet.
Blue Velvet has aged it compared to Fire Walk with Me. Fire Walk with Me has a much more timeless feel to it.
Blue Velvet is amazing, though. It can age.
It is, but it has aged. It's very much has that.
I think it's the styling, though, like the hair, the clothes, the decor, and the
it does, but it hasn't aged as well.
McLaughlin's earring.
Not storyline-wise or acting-wise.
I heard something hilarious the other day. We all know the story that David Lynch was offered the chance to make Return of the Jedi. And he turned it down because he said, that's George's thing. I wouldn't be able to bring my vision to it. And so he went off and did Dune. But my feeling is, I actually heard this the other day, and I thought, that's kind of funny. I'm going to bring this up to you guys about this on the next podcast. Do you think that Frank Booth, doing his drugs, doing the, that thing, was that a reference to Darth Vader?
I heard somebody say that once.
I never even thought of it. That was amazing. You blew my mind.
There you go. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. Lynch's work ages really well, I think.
It does.
And even though like Blue Velvet is definitely a time and place, at the same time though, like a lot of his work, you don't know, is this modern day? Is this the 50s? Is the what time? Because like in Blue Velvet, there's not one female in that movie wearing pants. They're all in like ankle long skirts. Right. So I don't know any American high school where that's the case. And like I said, I think Laura Palmer and Naomi Watts' character in Mulholland Drive are the only two women in Lynch's filmography that has ever worn a pair of jeans. and they're two incredibly fucked up blonde characters. So I don't know what Lynch has the thing with that. I think it's maybe just an aesthetic thing. Yeah. But that being said, I'm sure tomorrow we'll have more news, and because right now the websites are blowing this up. Ever since when Lynch posted that message on Facebook, not many people. I mean, it got shared. People talked about it. Ever since he took to Twitter and reposted it, now every website is talking about this.
That's where I saw it on Twitter. I was in bed, and then I just noticed. I've only known it for like 2 hours, so I'm still sort of freak out mode.
Helena, what are you doing at 3:30 in the morning, laying in bed reading David Lynch's Twitter feed?
I'm a student, so I don't have anywhere to be.
So
I normally go to bed at about 6 in the morning.
I was just going to say before, when you were talking about if Frost directed it, I think the only thing, I hope Lynch directs every episode, I really do. The only thing that would make me not want to watch it is if he doesn't direct the finale. Like if he just came in, if they had like all the other directors come back, Frost and Tim Hunter and Leslie Lincoln Glatter and stuff, but Lynch still directed the finale, I could live with that. I wouldn't be thrilled, but I could live with it.
I think if he comes back, he'll come back properly,
a final stamp on it, it would be like, really? Like, because they're already, I think the ending of Fire Walk with Me is a great ending, you know, to the saga. You got Cooper and Laura there in the Red Room, and it's kind of this iconic last image. If they're going to replace that with something else, I really hope it's going to be something David Lynch directs. That's my only thing where I feel like I would just be completely give up on it altogether, would be if he's not even going to come back for that. And then it would be like, okay, now they've really jumped the shark. But that's just my 2 cents. Like, I like all the non-Lynch, well, a lot of the non-Lynch episodes, but I like the fact that he finishes it, you know, both the show itself and then the movie too. Like, it needs him to put the final touch on wherever else it goes, in my opinion.
I'm just worried that he'll just come in and just purposely, you know, fuck it up just to make us all pissed off. Give us another.
No, he would not do that.
Give us another.
Do another inland DV. Shoot it on DV.
No, just give us another cliffhanger ending, and then say it's not coming back.
Oh my God! Can you imagine if they did another cliffhanger? People, I think David Lynch would be assassinated. People would be so cross with him. I don't think he would do that though. I don't think.
But what's interesting is that very few people I'm reading in the comments are saying, like, even if they side with David Lynch, they're not siding with him in the way of saying, well, he's an artist and thank God he's standing up for what he believes in. Now, there's like 1 or 2 people, but for the most part, people are either like, Showtime, give him the money, or Lynch, you know, you can do this. You've done this before, that type of thing. You know, so it's hard to know exactly where in the production budget this is a problem. But again, I just keep coming back to the first thing. My first thought is, why are they telling the fans and getting everyone so excited if this wasn't set in stone right from the beginning?
That's what I said.
So
it's just it was set up to piss people off if anything went wrong.
And like I said in my video today, if this doesn't go through, this will be one of the biggest cock teases in history. So all right, well, let's
biggest.
Yeah. I think we should.
It's like Heath Ledger dying. That was pretty bad, you know. For
but at
the
least
Batman.
He finished The Dark Knight. At least he was done with it.
He did, but he was so amazing. We wanted more of it. You know. No. Oh God, that was so sad.
Well, I mean, Easter's supposed to be a happy day, at least, you know, for here in America for most people. But this has really been a bummer afternoon.
It's my mum's birthday today as well.
Sorry to hear that. Well, happy birthday to your mom. But so, all right. So let's wrap this up. Joe, where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me at Joe Powers on Facebook, or Twin Peaks Worldwide, or Twin Peaks Worldwide on Instagram. I'm thinking maybe we should change the name back to Bring Back Twin Peaks again.
Yes, do it.
Again, put the again in there.
Again. James actually said this afternoon when this was going on, that we should do that. He said we got to get on that. So
it takes 14
Change
days.
It to fuck you Showtime.
There you go. Remember, it takes 14 days for the title to change. So
it does, and by that time it might be on again.
Exactly. Joel, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Lost in the Movies. My blog, which is thedancingimage.blogspot.com, although it is called Lost in the Movies. And
tell them about your YouTube page.
Oh, on YouTube. You can go on YouTube, MovieMan0283, and watch my Twin Peaks videos.
Now, Helena,
that might be all the Twin Peaks. That might be all the Twin Peaks you're getting in this now. Just kidding.
Exactly. Well, Helena, if you've angered people on this podcast, where can they send their mean tweets to you?
I'm not giving out my Twitter. No way. It's not because of that. My Twitter's like, I have like a different persona on Twitter, and it's like completely private, so no one can come and like murder me.
Okay, well,
I've got like 7,000 followers though, so you can come at me, bro, if you find me. But,
you have 7,000.
I'll prove it. Yeah, don't ask me how that happened. Anyway, yeah.
Well, just
Also,
go to any
please don't add me on Facebook. You can come and yell at me on forums. That's fine. I'll be on Twin Peaks Worldwide or Fuck You Showtime, and I'll be on Obnoxious and Anonymous. I'm usually around, but oh Jesus Christ, if you hate me, don't send me PMs. Thank you. People do tend to hate me though, so that's fine.
Right. Well, obviously everybody knows how to find me. All the links are below. So until then, until next time, take care and hope all this gets worked out in the near future, regardless of whatever it is. But I hope it's good news. Honestly, at this moment, you know, it's kind of like a bad relationship. It's like I'll take anything at this moment than nothing right now. Maybe
I'd take nothing over something shit, to be honest.
Well, that's true, but at the same time, it's like if it comes out that Mark Frost is directing, I'll be like, oh, okay, all right, I'll take it. But you know, if they come out saying, you know, Brett Ratner or Michael Bay is going to do it, Michael Bay, you know,
in a world where Twin Peaks, no, don't do it.
Somebody just commented under one of our Instagram posts, like, Michael Bay is coming on board now, right? And,
I will say that
it's already out there.
That his Black Lodge would be incredible.
And don't forget, William Shatner has now tweeted on this.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not on Twitter right now. I need to get on.
William Shatner, Captain Kirk himself, said, "Sorry to hear that David Lynch will not be in the command chair for the Twin Peaks reboot. Showtime Network should reconsider."
Okay.
And then he tweeted...
William Shatner wants to play Cooper.
He tweeted to Major Namek and said, hello, Aunt Wendy. So, there you go.
What? You back on crack?
William Shatner did this?
Yes.
They'll just bring on a new Lynch and Frost will leave. They'll bring on a new showrunner. David E. Kelly from Ally McBeal will come on, take it over. So, in the practice, he'll bring Shatner and James Spader over. They'll be in the new Truman.
Shatner will be the new Major Briggs.
Shatner will be Major Briggs.
We must find the Black Lodge.
As long as Grace Zabrisky's back from the finale episode, was it? I'm in the Black Lodge.
Nobody has ever figured out who the heck that's supposed to be. Is it supposed to be Wyndham Earle or
Bob?
What?
Well, what's so strange about that?
It's like it's so. I think the captioning says Wyndham Earle, but like, why is Wyndham Earle? I don't know. Mysteries continue.
Well, that one line has always made me laugh because you can totally tell that it was reversed because you can hear the film stop, the soundtrack. You can hear it go.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I think we've probably taken up too much of your time tonight, but let us know what your thoughts are below, and we will see you next time. Take care.